to another shorty from Thrive with Pilates, a little short video clip just to teach you how to use the Toe Corrector. So if you happen to have one of these gizmos, you're in luck. You can also, though, use some basic little things that most people have at home. 2 rubber bands, like you have from broccoli, or maybe a rather thick hair tie. If you're using a rubber band, let me come close to the camera so you can see this. You're gonna cross the 2 bands over each other, like so. Reach through this one and pull the other end through so it becomes like a figure 8, and then it becomes 2 linked bands. Yeah. Whichever way you choose, whether it's with this or our little toe gizmo toe corrector. Then you come to a seated position. I'm going to do this seated on a mat today. You can totally be on a chair. In fact, it might be more comfortable for your back if you're on a chair, seated with your feet on the floor like so. So if you were seated, you just have your hips upright. You'll take your one end of your rubber bands or your toe corrector and loop it over your big toe like so. So you're actually going just about the level of your nail bed. You don't want to be too low on the toe. Fairly high is good. And then you might need your other hand to keep the rest of the toes down. And then you're lifting your big toe with the help of your bands or your toe corrector. You can align this. So this is really helpful for correcting bunions. So if you have a bunion, you're going to pull outwards a little bit with your toe to try to bring it aligned with the big toe knuckle as much as possible for you. And you'll strive to keep it there. It's going to shift a little bit. So hold your band in place wherever you got it to get it lifted, and you'll push down with your toe towards the mat and let it lift back up. You press down and lift back up. You do 3 to 5 is all you need to do. That's 3 for me. I'm going to just do 3 today, but you're welcome to do 5. And then move on to the second toe. And you repeat the same thing. So they get a little more challenging usually as we get smaller toes. You're going to pull up. Be careful not to pull back with your band towards your body, but actually straight up or slightly forward. And then press the toe down and let it lift up. You're pressing down against the resistance of your band or your toe corrector, so you don't want your hand to be moving up and down as your toe moves up and down. Once you've done 3 to 5, move on to the third one. Again, you're welcome to hold down your other toes so they don't get swirly, and then press down and resist up, and reach it down, and up, and down, and up. Then you're moving on to the 4th toe, same thing. Lengthen the toes out, lower and lift, lower and lift, lower and lift. Moving on to your 5th toe. Find that length, press it down, release up and down, and release up. For many, this is a tricky one. The little toe doesn't always react well. Okay, so then you got the other foot, and do the same exact thing. Loop it over your big toe, right around the nail bed level or a little higher. Lift up and align your toe with your big toe joint as best you can. Press the toe to the mat, and then release it up to the floor, and reach it down, and lift it up. And this foot is harder for me. There's always one foot. And then we switch to the next toe, 2nd toe. Line it up, lengthen it out, and you lower the toe, and lift the toe, and lower the toe, and lift the toe, lower the toe, and lift the toe. This is sometimes rather laughable. And then switch to the 3rd toe. Get it all lined up. Stretch that toe out. Sometimes you have toes that kind of curl. You want them as long as you can get them. And then lift a little bit and reach it down and up and down and up and down and up. 3 to 5. Switch to the next toe, your 4th toe. Same thing. Stretch it out. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. One thing I will say, the toe corrector is a tougher device than your rubber bands. So sometimes it might be easier to start with the rubber bands until your toes get the hang of it and you build some strength in your foot. And then you add the toe corrector later. And then reach down and up and down and up and down and up. Simple as that. If you do this twice a day, every day, you can even correct bunions, even if they've been there for a while. Your next set of exercises for the toe corrector or your rubber band is to put one loop over each big toe Again, kind of around the nail bed's a good idea, the base of the nail. And then extend your legs out long. You want to sit up tall on your back. So if you were on a chair, you come off the chair and down onto the floor or a mat and try to lift up really tall. If you have a hard time doing that, you can sit on a pillow or soften your knees a little. You want to get your back tall. Then you go out to where the bands are taut, right, finding the end, and push your legs out and then release them in. It's not very big. Open the legs and close the legs, but you're working from the side of your hip. Reach it out and in and out and in. And you can do 5 to 10 of these guys. I'm going to keep it at the 5 today. Then push it out just a little, just a slight tension on that toe corrector, and then rotate your toes to the side and then back to center. Try not to turn your heels inward. It's the toes pushing outward that changes the relationship. So we go out and in. Wrapping around in the hips so you get those rotators working. This is more about the upper leg than it is about the feet. 1 more time, or 5 more times for 10. Then relax the legs. And your last thing is more of the feet with the legs. Stay parallel, push out into the bands just a little bit, go into a half point, then a full point, pull your toes back for a half point, and then flex. Then we go half point, full point, half point, flex. The fun part is try to keep a little tension on your toe corrector the whole time. You may find this challenging to align the toes. Sometimes they don't want to align. It comes in time. I'm going to do maybe 5 to 10 of those. And this will work your whole leg all the way up to your pelvis. It can change everything. I recommend doing it daily, at least once a day, twice if you can. It only takes a few minutes. And have fun with your toe correctors. Thanks for joining me.